Well, good morning, everyone. 大家好. I just want to thank Nancy and Rich for having me here. And I heard a lot about Singapore just now. So, I'm going to share with you a project that we did last year. But I would also like to share with you more about our visitors, how they behave in our gallery. Because, you do know that we don't attract young people to the museum. So my project here, we focus a lot about people from 15 years old to 30 years old. So, all right, so why do we design this AR project, which I'm going to show you a video later? It's because, we have been receiving lots of feedback that museum is so boring. When I conceptualized this game, I was about 6 months into working in the museum. So with 1 foot in the museum, 1 foot out of the museum, I could understand why visitors think our museum is boring, right? Because it is for the history folks. If I do not like history, I don't see the relevance, I don't have to come to the museum. The third one is, why do I have to look at another bowl? And if you have 1,000 of bowls exhibited in your gallery, and this is the last thing, and this is people do not want to look at another one. So we took the challenge to want to design something, and hopefully people will feel attracted to come to the museum. But the most exciting thing for me is not about the innovation, but is to learn all sort of funny and surprises that the visitors has portrayed themselves in the gallery. So, the experience is actually designed for pre-visit, during, and post-visit of the exhibition. And this one is about the Terracotta Warrior exhibition, which we hosted them for about 3 months. It's a special exhibition. And we thought it had such a very interesting storyline. Well, if you know about Emperor Qin Shi Huang, his story is like a drama. It is like a Hollywood movie. But visitors could not see that storyline if they just read the description of the object. So, which is very sad. So when we designed this AR, we wanted to have all this thing, and hopefully people can want to understand more about the story, and especially the hidden agenda and the Prime Minister and the full hidden secret that the Emperor has in history. So I'm going to show you a video how it works, and then after that I'll tell you more about how our visitors actually engage with it. We don't usually see that many people in the gallery. If you have 30 at one time, you'll be very happy. Okay, so, well, the story is unveiled through a conversation between Li Si, the Prime Minister, and his son, just a few days before they're being executed to death. And the father kind of tells the story about the emperor and why he does certain things and so on. So, well, it gave us a great opportunity to study how our visitors, well, behave. And of course, this is also a pilot exercise, so we can actually develop a more fuller experience for our permanent exhibition. Well, although the app was well designed for people between 15 to 22 years old, of course, we see a sharp decline in interest for visitors above 30 years old. And the funny thing is, no matter how many signs we put up at the lobby to encourage people to download this great experience, people do not read the signs. And of course, people only started to download when they see other people go, wow, you only take one person to do that, and suddenly you will see 30 people trying to download the app at the same time, at the same location. So this is very strange. And of course, because of that, we have network congestion, which is really bad. And of course, AR is such a new concept because we had this last year, 2011, and people did not really understand what AR is for. So, but people do not like to ask for help because they just want to try. And even though we have people having not so smartphone, but they still want to try and to just take photo of the market, hopefully something magical will happen. And after about 3 weeks into observing this behavior, we set up this training station at the lobby to get people to download at the lobby instead of downloading at the gallery. And it really worked because you just need one person to say, wow, I see an invisible army, and I took a picture with it, and suddenly you can see a whole bunch of people started downloading it. And so it helps to build the confidence when they go into the gallery, they immediately know what to do. They could start the experience. So what is the interesting patterns is that, well, you can see people using the not so smart phone and to just take picture of a marker and happily walked away and thought they have completed the trail. And the second thing is, well, the children are the ones who actually led their parents to complete the trail. So if you see video, you can see toddler now trying to touch magazine and thought the magazine is like a malfunction or iPad that do not work. So that's something that is, to think about. We observed a lot of role-playing pictures uploaded on Facebook, as you can see, the one below. And we also have a group of people race to complete the trail, and then they will come back to the gallery, just look at the objects a second round. Okay, talk about reading. People hate to read. So we noticed that 40% of the people do not read. So it is a very interesting finding. If we spend so much time writing labels and instructions and people hate to read them, so what does it tell us, right? So, well, of course, people hate to read instruction as well. As you can see, some people say, well, I didn't know I can ring the bell so that I could hear how it actually sounds like. So this is what after our gallery assistant told them. And I just want to, collect a poll. Which one do you think is the most popular for the 15 to 22 years old? After you watch the video, yeah?
Lower left.
Lower left? Anyone want to guess? Yes, I thought so too. But this is a number one. It is a battle tactic game, so that shows that we all do not belong to the 15 to 22 years old, right? I thought the second one, the top and the bottom one is the coolest, but they prefer the game. And the most popular one for the 31 to 35 years old is the one on the top. So why do they prefer the game? Well, they say there is a goal, and they like the gaming aspect of it. So, well, something to think about. Okay, so, well, the good thing is people learn about the story, the rise and fall of the Qin dynasty, and people actually spend more time looking at the artifact after they use the app. And I'd like to point you to the comment that people made, and you can see how people draw connection with Lord of the Ring and the Emperor Qin, right? So, well, this shows how people relate themselves and the things that they know with the artifact. So, well, we receive a lot of comments about this. Museum is not boring anymore. And these are some of the very good ones, which I think it is very encouraging for us as well. But the question I would like to ask is, how do we strike a balance between, well, education and entertainment? How do we come up with something and not just for people to experience when I press a button, some cool animation happens? Do we want to go more to engage visitors on that level? And how do we do that? Well, I don't have a perfect answer here, but I would certainly hope that, you know, the floor could discuss about this. And how do we actually design something that is more imaginative? For example, how do we actually promote that kind of social interaction within the gallery? And how do we layer those kind of information as well? Well, the good thing is we know that our visitors are pretty ready to embrace new technology. Of course, the Android people are not so happy. They complained and say that, why always iPhone users? Well, the sad thing is when we launched that platform, it is only available on iPhone. So this is something to think about. Do we want to exclude people from being, to experience certain things just because of technology? Well, another thing I would like to talk about is the emotional aspect of it. Well, a lot of people find things interesting they will want to find out is because of the emotional engagement, right? You feel something, you feel sad for certain thing, and then that is the reason why you want to find out more. You feel happy, you feel nervous about certain things. So how do we actually design to elicit that emotional response so that it encourages people to learn, encourage people to find out more, and encourage people to do a difference in whatever field that you talked about. So that I conclude my presentation. Well, if you have any more questions about that, and also I would like to make a note, well, Asian Art Museum actually repurposed this app, and I look forward to see their revised and much improved version from this app. Well, it's opening in February in San Francisco. Well, thank you so much.